It was the kind of day where the sky felt too blue to be real, sunlight spilling through the high glass windows of the Lexington Grand Hotel like golden silk. The lobby smelled faintly of lilies, polished wood, and wealth. Guests came and went with the elegance of those who had long since forgotten the taste of struggle. In the center of it all stood a grand piano, glossy and black, untouched most days except by the occasional hired musician during evening hours. 12-year-old Isabella Santiago tiptoed around the edge of the lobby, her eyes wide with awe. She was barefoot, the soles of her feet tough from growing up in the back alleys of Los Angeles. Her mother, Rosa, was one of the hotel's maids, a kind, soft-spoken woman who often came home exhausted and smelling like bleach but never failed to kiss Isabella's forehead and whisper, "Someday, mi amor, you'll have more." Rosa had brought Isabella with her today, hoping no one would notice. Their sitter had cancelled, and she couldn't afford to lose her job. She had warned her daughter, "Stay in the laundry room, Isa. No wandering, okay?" But the pull of music and curiosity was stronger than fear. Isa had heard the sound of the piano once before. A guest had played a haunting melody that stirred something deep inside her. Since then, she'd been dreaming of it, not as a toy, but as a voice she longed to speak in. As she stood beside the piano now, her small fingers hovered above the ivory keys. She looked around. No one was watching. She gently pressed a single note. The sound bloomed like magic. Another note. Then a chord. Her fingers, despite no formal training, moved instinctively, as if they were remembering something they had never learned. Then came the voice. "What do you think you're doing?" It was sharp. Cold. Public. Isabella flinched as the hotel's front desk clerk, Gregory Bell, marched toward her. He was tall, severe, and always dressed like he was auditioning for a villain in a courtroom drama. His voice echoed across the marble floor, drawing the eyes of several guests. "This isn't a playground," he snapped, glaring down at her. "Do you even know what this piano costs? It's not for Maid's children to mess with." She shrunk back, cheeks burning with humiliation. Her hands fell to her sides. From the other side of the lobby, Rosa dropped the linen cart and rushed over, heart pounding with dread. "I'm so sorry, sir. Please, she didn't mean any harm. I told her to stay." Gregory didn't even look at her. "Take her back to where she belongs. And make sure she doesn't wander again, or you'll both be out the door." Tears filled Isabella's eyes, but she didn't cry. She just looked once more at the piano, a silent farewell. But someone else had noticed. Sitting by the lounge, hidden behind a column with a cup of espresso and a tablet in hand, was an older man in a gray sweater and jeans, looking utterly out of place among the blazers and briefcases. His name was Henry Whitmore. To most of the world, he was just another senior citizen. But in the world of music, he was a legend. Henry had composed scores for some of the greatest films of the last 30 years. He had played in Carnegie Hall before some of the hotel staff were even born. And what he had just witnessed stirred something in him that he hadn't felt in a long time, raw, untaught talent. He rose quietly and approached the piano, his steps deliberate. Everyone watched, confused. Then, without a word, he sat and began to play. The melody was soft at first, like a whisper. It wasn't grand or flashy. It was curious. Tentative. Like it was asking a question. Isabella turned, drawn by the sound. Her breath caught. It was the same piece she had tried to mimic. He was playing it, but different. Alive. He glanced at her. "Come here," he said gently. Isabella hesitated. Gregory opened his mouth to protest, but Henry cut him off with a look so commanding it froze the clerk in place. "She's not in trouble. She's invited." Rosa stood frozen, unsure of what to do. Henry reached his hand out. "Play with me." And so, she did. Isabella stepped forward, slowly, reverently, and placed her fingers beside his. He played a phrase and paused. She echoed it. Then he played a variation, and she followed, her small fingers trembling but precise. The lobby fell silent. Guests put down their coffee. Staff stopped mid-step. Even Gregory, red-faced and unsure of his place now, stood stunned. Note after note flowed, and soon the room was filled with something far bigger than music. It was awe. It was heart. It was a conversation between an old master and a young soul, neither speaking a word, but both understanding each other deeply. When the final chord faded, there was no applause. Just silence, the good kind. The kind that said everything had changed. Henry smiled at her. "What's your name?" "Isabella," she whispered. "Well, Isabella. I think we need to talk about your future." That evening, Rosa and Isabella sat in a hotel cafe, invited personally by Henry. Over warm cocoa and pastries Isabella had never tasted before, he shared his plan. He wanted to sponsor her. Not just music lessons, but a full scholarship to one of the most prestigious music academies in California. He had contacts. Influence. And more than that, he had belief. But why? Rosa asked, her voice shaking. "We can't repay." "You already did," he interrupted softly. "When she touched that piano, it sang. That can't be taught. That's a gift. And it deserves a chance." News spread quickly. Gregory tried to apologize, but it was too late. The hotel released a public statement praising Isabella's talent and Henry's generosity. They quietly reassigned Gregory to the night shift. Months passed. Then years. Isabella, now 15, stood on the stage of the Walt Disney Concert Hall, her fingers flying across the keys like fire and silk. The world was watching. Critics called her a prodigy forged by fate. But she never forgot where it started: a scolding in a hotel lobby and the kindness of one stranger. In her first big interview, the journalist asked, "What's the moment that changed everything for you?" She smiled. "The moment someone believed I deserved to touch the piano." Years later, Isabella returned to the Lexington Grand Hotel, this time as a guest of honor. A charity gala had been organized to support musical education for underprivileged children. Henry Whitmore sat beside her, older now, but beaming with pride. A new piano had been installed in the lobby. A small plaque beside it read, "Dedicated to all the unheard voices, waiting for someone to listen." In honor of Isabella Santiago, whose first note changed everything. And somewhere in the back, a maid wiped away a tear, not of sorrow, but of pride. Because dreams, even those born in silence, always find a way to be heard.